President Yemi Shelsunder with PBS NewsHour. On the campaign trail, you called yourself a nationalist. Some people saw that as emboldening white nationalists. Now people are also saying that the president.
It's such a racist
There are
question.
some people that say that now the Republican Party is seen as supporting white nationalists because of your rhetoric. What do you make of that?
I don't believe it. I don't know. Why do I have my highest poll numbers ever with African Americans? Why do I have among the highest poll numbers with African Americans? I mean, why do I have my highest poll numbers? That's such a racist question. Honestly, I mean, I know you have it written down and you're going to tell me. Let me tell you, it's a racist question.
And Mr. President, I
love it. You know what the word is? I love our country. I do. You have nationalists, you have globalists. I also love the world. And I don't mind helping the world, but we have to straighten out our country first. We have a lot of problems.
And
Excuse me. But to say that, what you said, is so insulting to me. It's a very terrible thing that you said.
And Mr. President,
Please the way. Please the way. How about you lead the way?
Oh my God! Oh my fucking
umbrella. She's up. Whole nother level of shit you can't even understand.
What is good, my people? We are live back again with another episode of The Forecast. Now, there are a lot of black folk upset that more black people didn't get out and vote, and they're upset that the Democrats lost and they're blaming it on other black people, as if it's our responsibility to get Democrats elected. Now, first of all, they just skip over the percentage of the white women vote to go straight to black people, even though white women also classify themselves as minority, and they benefit the most from all of these democratic programs set out for minorities. And even though they let white women play both sides of the fence and call themselves minorities so they can benefit from civil rights while at the same time helping uphold white supremacy, but they skip right over them to place the blame on us. The same people pointing the finger at us for the Democrats losing, they don't have anything to say about the Hispanic vote and how they vote against their own best interests. These Democratic politicians have specific agendas for the Hispanic community to benefit them, and they still vote against them. They want black people to cater for immigration, and they can't even get the immigrants to vote for them. A lot of Hispanics went out the way to vote against the black candidates. If a few more white women and a few more Hispanics had voted for them, then you wouldn't even be worried about how many black people voted. But even though white women and Hispanics benefit more from Democratic politicians than black people do, you still expect black people to get these people elected. But I think a lot of black people were done after Barack Obama. And by the way, they love to say it was white people that got Barack Obama elected. But Obama never won the white vote, especially not white women. Black people came out in record numbers and voted for Barack Obama. I didn't vote for Obama either time, even though the first time I should have for the culture. But it was black people that went out and got Barack Obama elected, and he had an agenda for everybody but the black community. He had no problem saying he had an agenda for the gay community. He had no problem giving the people who call themselves Jews who went through the Holocaust reparations. But when you ask about reparations for black people, it's, oh, well, we need to put money in the public schools, even though all people go to public schools. Obama had to apologize for saying Trayvon Martin would look like his son, which he would. But after all of that, he told the black community to go out and just vote for Hillary, or he'll take it as disrespecting his legacy. And again, they blame black people for letting Donald Trump get elected. But it was the black vote that got Obama elected in the first place. The black vote has always determined the course of American history. And every time there's a war or something like that, America opens their arms to black people from the beginning to right now. During the Revolutionary War, Britain offered black people freedom if they helped fight against the rebels. And George Washington and the colonies were losing until they came to black people and offered them freedom to help fight back. And when black people got involved, that helped decide the Revolutionary War. Of course, George Washington went back on his word, but he had to get black people to fight with him. During the Civil War, Abraham Lincoln took a page out of George Washington's book. The South was kicking the North ass until Lincoln offered black people freedom. And again, when black people got involved, it decided the fate of the Civil War. During World War II, again, Franklin Roosevelt and Harry Truman, they did the same thing. In 1941, Franklin Roosevelt tried to bring back Reconstruction. and passed some kind of civil rights bill. He started cracking down on laws like peonage, which they used to lock black people up for debt. But that's because they needed black people to help in World War II to help decide that fate. But when those black soldiers came back, they were treated worse than the German captives. And even still today, you got the president calling Nazis very fine people. At the end of the day, it didn't matter who the president was. We still got the same results, even though it's the black vote that determines America's fate. And even though black people supported and still support Obama in record numbers, they were still shooting down black men, women, and children in the middle of the street and getting away with it. In Chicago, a 15-year-old brother, Dakota Bright, was shot in the back of the head by Chicago police officer Brandon Temand, and he got away with shooting a boy in the back of the head. So let's go back and see what happened to this young brother, Dakota Bright.
A police officer is cleared by the police board in the 2012 deadly shooting of a 15-year-old boy.
CBS 2's V. Wynn live at police headquarters with more on the board's decision. Hi, V.
Yeah, good morning, Marissa and Mike. The police board voted 5-3 here last night to clear Officer Brandon Temand of any wrongdoing in this deadly shooting, despite the ruling by the Independent Police Review Authority calling this shooting unprovoked and unwarranted. Now, 15-year-old Dakota Bright was a freshman at Robeson High School when he was shot and killed. An autopsy report shows he was shot in the back of the head during a chase with police. The 2012 shooting sparked controversy and protests in the community. Bright's family says he was walking to his grandmother's house at the time of the shooting. Officers responded to a burglary call that turned out to be a false alarm. Officer Brandon Temand told the board he feared for his life and thought Bright was reaching for a gun when they saw him walking in the alley. Bright was unarmed, but police did find a gun nearby. A majority of the police board found the officer's testimony to be credible and persuasive. The board says Officer Temand had been a tactical officer for 5 years, calling him a decorated officer, and how his reputation for honesty was backed by his character witnesses. Now, the city council approved a settlement 2 years ago to the family for $925,000. We are hoping to hear from Bright's family sometime this morning, on the board's decision.
So, according to the Chicago police, this cop, Officer Brandon Temand, and his partner were responding to a burglary call that ended up being a false call, so there was no crime committed in the first place. And they really had no reason to be bothering this 15-year-old kid. Now, at the same time, this young brother, Dakota Bright, was walking to his grandmother's house after leaving his friend's house when Officer Brandon Temand sees him and claimed that he was walking down the street with a gun in his hand. Now, who just walks down the street holding a gun for no reason? But the cop said that's what he saw, so he started to chase him, and he shouted, "Police, drop the gun." Now, the cop said as he was chasing him, the young brother Dakota Bright turned around and looked at him and started grabbing for his waist on his left side. Now, mind you, he said he was walking down the street with a gun in his hand, so why would he have to reach for his waist if it's already out? But of course, he said he feared for his life and he had no other choice but to shoot this 15-year-old kid in the back of the head. Now, no gun was actually found on him. They said they found a gun somewhere in the neighborhood, even though it was supposed to be in his hand, he was supposed to be reaching, but the gun was somewhere else in the neighborhood. And they never really said it was his or they had his fingerprints on the gun. They just said they found a gun somewhere in the area. You even had one witness call the police on the cop saying that he shot somebody in the back of the head. But despite all the evidence, the police still decided to clear themselves of all charges.
A key ruling almost 5 years after a Chicago police officer shot and killed a teenager on the city's south side. His name was Dakota Bright, and he was 15 years old. The Independent Police Review Authority determined the police actions were unjustified. CBS 2's Sandra Torres reports.
I'm just so thankful that this man, some justice is coming for my baby.
Standing feet away from the backyard where a Chicago police officer shot and killed her 15-year-old son, Pansy Edwards makes a plea.
Please look at this case and pay attention. It hurts me when I hear them talk about the police murders and my son's name is left out.
Her son, Dakota Bright, was shot in the back of the head by an officer during a foot chase in November 2012. Police initially said Bright turned and pointed a gun at the officer. No weapon was found on the teen, but a weapon was recovered near the scene. Now the Independent Police Review Authority, known as IPRA, brought the case out of the shadows, ruling the police actions were out of policy and used an unreasonable and excessive amount of force, which was unprovoked and unwarranted.
It lifts a lot of weight off of me just to know that I ain't alone. I'm not the only one who know the truth.
The officer's name has not been revealed.
We are disappointed and we are surprised by this development.
But the Fraternal Order of Police strongly disagrees with the ruling.
They are opening an investigation and ruled something that is unjustified when it was justified. And they better have some very good reasons for doing it.
The Cook County State's Attorney's Office says the office plans to review the case to ensure that the matter has been thoroughly reviewed in light of all available information. And Chicago police say they are also in the process of reviewing the case.
So years after a police board cleared themselves of all charges, a review board finally went back and took a look at the case and said the shooting was not justified. And even though they were only asking to fire him, not charge him, the police and their spokesman was pissed even about that. Forget about charging this cop who shot a 15-year-old in the back of the head. They don't even want you to talk about firing this cop. And even though this young brother, Dakota Bright, most likely didn't have a criminal past, because that's the first thing they would have brought up, they talked about this 15-year-old kid who was a freshman in high school like he was a 35-year-old man. But they treat this grown man who was supposed to be a cop like he is the victim. They took so long to even release his name, let alone talk about his past. This cop, Brandon Temand, has a history of complaints and lawsuits against him. In the 4 years he was a cop, he had 2 other incidents where he fired at suspects, other than his 15-year-old brother, Dakota Bright. Not only did he shoot in 2 other incidents, he had 6 lawsuits and 25 complaints against him in 4 years. One of the most in Chicago police, as corrupt as they are. And all of it ranged from excessive force to illegal searches, including shooting a 15-year-old kid in the back of the head. Not only did he not get in trouble, the man is still a cop right now. And the police voted to justify the shooting for a second time, saying this cop Brandon Temand is credible and has a history of honesty, even though he's clearly lying in this case. And he clearly has a long history against him. But despite all of that, he is still employed.
The Chicago police officer is cleared of wrongdoing years after the deadly shooting of a teen boy back in 2012. This morning, we're hearing from the family of that 15-year-old Dakota Bright. CBS 2's V. Wynn is live at police headquarters with details for us on this story. Hi, V.
Yeah, good morning, Marissa. Dakota Bright's family settled with the city 2 years ago, but his mother told me on the phone no amount of money can bring her son back. The Independent Police Review Authority said the shooting was unprovoked and unwarranted, but last night the police board voted 5-3 to rule the shooting justified. Pansy Edwards described the past 6 years as painful for her family. Her 15-year-old son, Dakota Bright, was a freshman at Robeson High School when he died. An autopsy report shows he was shot in the back of the head. The shooting happened near 67th Street and Indiana Avenue when officers responded to a call for a burglary that turned out to be a false alarm in November of 2012. Officer Brandon Temand told investigators he saw Bright in the alley with a gun, and the teen took off running. At some point, the officer thought the teen was reaching for a gun and shot him. Bright did not have a gun on him, but a gun was recovered nearby. Bright's family says he had just left a friend's place and was walking to his grandmother's house when he was shot and killed. According to ruling documents by the police board, Officer Ternad says he feared for his life. The board heard testimony from witnesses, looked at the evidence, and found the officer's testimony to be credible. Officer Ternad had been a tactical officer for 5 years, described as a highly decorated officer. A majority of the board found his reputation for honesty was established by his character witnesses. Now, the officer was placed on paid desk duty from 2012 to 2017 pending the investigation. He was suspended without pay last November after the superintendent made a recommendation to the board to fire him. But now that he's clear, he will be back on duty and will receive back pay for the time of his suspension.
Now, this cop, Robert Tremaine, has been on the police force for 4 years and has 3 shootings, including killing a 15-year-old. But the police in a dominant society protect each other, including grown men. Meanwhile, as a community, we have a problem protecting our own children. We rather argue about which white savior is going to do it for us. And we're supposed to just vote for Democrats, even though all of these things happened under Obama. And none of these cops were getting charged. But we're supposed to just be blindly loyal to people who aren't loyal to us. Obama could not say he was black. And there has never been a black president with 2 black parents who knew he was black and was proud of that. At some point, our kids' lives, our lives, have got to matter enough for us to stand up and do what we have to do. And as long as we stay divided, we'll continue to get the same results over and over and over again. And we'll be having the same conversation another 50 years from now.
White nations!
White nations!
Now we start the deportation!
Now we start the deportation!
White nations!
White nations!
Closed borders!
Closed borders!
Now we start the deportation!
Now we start the deportation!
You're right, gentlemen.
Your money bag, Here's your money back.
Oh, see, you should do that.
No. You the manager? Yes, I'm the manager.
You should do
better
that.
pick this shit up.
Hey, you need to get the laws in there.
No,
Get this
y'all
shit
don't need to
straight.
go through laws.
You better come pick this money
Yeah, that's wrong.
You better come pick this money up. I want her to give me my money back in my hand. Like I gave them to them in their hand. Give me my fucking money in my
I don't want to
hand.
get involved, but I don't think
Give me my fucking money back.
Give her money, please.
Here.
Man, let me get...
Norfolk Circle in Anderson County is usually a quiet place, but not early this morning when Ashley Jones heard people outside her home, followed by banging on her front door. You can see him in this home security video. She called 911 and...
I went to the side of my bed and I grabbed our gun.
Before this mother of 3 girls knew it, a man was forcing his way inside.
Banging again, bang, bang, bang. So then he kicks the door in. As soon as he kicks the door in and tries to take a step in my house, that's when I shot him and he ran off. Something just came over me and like I got calm, like my heart slowed down and I got calm and I just got focused.
Deputies were on scene right away, arresting him and a woman outside. This mother says the incident has left her kids scared, but she's thankful she had protection.
Because if I didn't have any kind of weapons, I don't know what I would have did. I mean, that guy was kind of big, so I wouldn't have been able to fight him off. I've never thought I would have to shoot that gun, ever.
An alleged burglar picked the wrong home in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. The homeowner armed, ready, and a whole lot more.
And in this age of social media, what do you think? Was it all broadcast live on Facebook?
Of course it was.
Yes, of course it was. So now he's got advice for others who may come a knockin', and ABC's Ariel Reshef joins us with more. Hi there, Ariel.
Hi, Paula and Tom. It was pitch black out when a former East Baton Rouge corrections officer realized a stranger was on his property. He took matters into his own hands, but first he made sure the cameras were rolling.
I don't give a. You stay where you are.
This dramatic Facebook Live video capturing the moments after an attempted break-in at a Louisiana home.
Stay on your face. Stay on your face.
Caesar Ray, a former corrections officer, rushing onto his porch, rifle in hand, after his neighbors called to warn him a suspicious man was on his property.
No, see, you just tried to break into the wrong house. You just stay where you located, right there. Don't move. Who are you here with?
A suspect appearing from the dark.
Oh, we called for somebody. We got somebody coming to get you, partner. I know police gonna be taking you tonight. Where are your shoes?
The man on the ground, Roberto Garcia. Ray and his family waiting for authorities to arrive.
When I came around the side of the house, he was pulling my screen off right here. So I put cuffs on him, so I don't know. I didn't check him thoroughly.
The tense 7-minute ordeal ending with Garcia arrested. Ray thankful he caught the intruder just in time.
Be vigilant, be observant, especially when you're coming home. Before you just pull in your driveway, I would say look around, especially in the dark areas. Don't just jump out of your vehicle.
I know police gonna be taking you tonight.
That's good advice. The suspect has been charged with 2 counts of burglary. He's being held on $20,000 bond. Guys, Ray urged anyone who does not have a law enforcement background to refrain from doing what he did.
Well, it looks like it was a family affair.
It was. The
There were
whole
a couple
family was on the
different
porch.
people
Yeah, the daughter, the wife was out there too, but they were getting that guy off their property.
Yeah.
So be vigilant and also make sure that your phone is charged just in case you want to Facebook them.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
And have a law enforcement background while you're doing it.
Awesome.
Not for a charcoal grill. No charcoal grills are allowed.
You're scared.
Please leave me alone.
You're white.
African American.
Illegally selling water without a permit.
But with cell phone cameras and social media, calling 911 on your black or brown neighbors just isn't what it used to be. Hi, I'm Niecy Nash, actress, inventor, and advocate for not calling 911 on black people for no goddamn reason. I'd like to introduce you to a radical new product that will save you all the headaches of being filmed and outed as a racist douche. It's called 1-844-WHITE-FEAR, and it's revolutionizing the way racist white people cope with black people living life near them.
1-844-WHITE-FEAR. There's a black guy outside my neighbor's house, and he's walking around.
Our experienced staff have been living while black in America their entire lives. Darren here is a former Obama aide who had the cops called on him for moving into his new apartment.
Yes, that is actually your neighbor Michael. Yeah, no problem.
Our records are actually showing that's actually his boat. Yeah, I know. Black people have boats too now.
Studies show that people of color are more likely to be arrested, convicted, and serve longer sentences than white people for similar crimes. So calling 911 for non-emergency situations is really just a move.
I got so scared when I saw a black guy walking around outside, and so I called 1-844-WHITE-FEAR, and it turns out we're neighbors, and I'm a racist.
Now, black people have been helping white people be better since always.
So, she's looking around and standing there?
Irregular frisbee or ultimate frisbee?
Call it when black people are having a barbecue, taking a nap in a rec room, mowing the lawn, waiting for a friend at a coffee shop, golfing, shopping, enjoying a vacation at their Airbnb, going to work, coming home from work, working while at work, campaigning for office, swimming with socks on, delivering newspapers, buying a house, selling water, parking their car, using a coupon, and so much more. 1-844-WHITE-FEAR. It's a real number for real white people who should mind their own damn business.
What's going on here?
If you've been a victim of 911 harassment, please email us at 844-WITFEAR@nytimes.com.
What do you think? What's it taking for? He likes that one too. He likes it too. It's like a sorbet, so... You know what I think it is? It's those hot temperatures that we've been experiencing here in Southern California. It's that as well. Oh, you want me to take it? Maybe try it before your dog has it, rather than after. I have it all the time.
Yeah. Delicious. It's really, really good. It's seriously.
It's like an ice cream party in here. It is. You can find Billy and Margot pet foods exclusively at PetSmart. Go to billyandmargot.com to find locations nearest you, or you can always order online.